Check, check. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Check, check. Check, check. Check, check. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Uh, check. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Uh, Good morning, everyone. Welcome into the 3-in-1 program. In today's lecture, I will introduce myself. My name is Rion Halbarchanu, and I will be your moderator in this session. And first of all, I would like to thank you for everyone who attended and took this time to attend our today's lecture session. In this lecture session, we have our special guest who is a visiting lecturer from Kebangsaan Malaysia University, Dr. Siti Ngeyasah. Good morning, Dr. Siti Ngeyasah. How are you today?
Morning, Alhamdulillah, I'm good.
Alhamdulillah, wonderful. Before we go into the next session, this lecture will be about customer behavior, and I will remind that this session will be 1 hour and 40 minutes long. So I hope in this session we can listen and learn carefully about customer behavior, and don't forget to make some summaries about this material. And after this discussion material session, there will be a Q&A session and discussion if you have any question or want to discuss about this material. So without wasting any time, let's get to this lecture, and please welcome Dr. Siti Ngeyasah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. This is the same crowd that we have on Wednesday, right? Same students, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Same
good.
students.
So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning.
Wabarakatuh.
Okay. As a continuation of Wednesday sharing session. Okay. So today we will go further into still consumer behavior. We will look into several theories on consumer behavior. But the focus today is more on how to influence customers, okay, for sustainable consumption. So let me share with you my lecture slide. Can you see my slide?
Yes.
Is it moving?
Yeah, that's moving.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Thank you so much. Okay, if you still remember, last Wednesday we are talking about understanding consumer behavior for sustainable fisheries. So today we will go into shaping consumer behavior for sustainable fisheries. So let me go to, yes, this is session 2. Okay, influencing sustainable consumption in fisheries. Okay. So yeah, please let's recap what we have share on Wednesday. Do you still remember? Do you still remember the content of our Wednesday sharing session?
Anyone want to check the answer?
Anything that you remember?
Maybe I would go first.
Yes.
About the history summary, is about consumer behavior in sustainable fisheries refers to how individuals make decisions when choosing an environmentally friendly and responsible fishery products. In this context, customers consider not only price and quality but also the environmental, social, and economic impacts of the products they consume. Factors such as environmental awareness, the presence of eco labels like MSC, and the level of knowledge about sustainability issues greatly influence their choices. Consumers can be categorized into several segments, ranging from highly environmental conscious individuals to those who are less aware or indifferent to sustainability concerns. To encourage the consumption of sustainable fishery products, marketing strategies should focus on education, transparent information, and ensuring that sustainable products are accessible and affordable. Although challenges remain, such as low awareness and relatively higher prices, the shift in consumer preferences towards a more eco-friendly lifestyle offers significant opportunities for the future development of sustainable fisheries.
You cover the content of Wednesday and Friday together.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway. Yeah, some of the content is on, yeah, it's more on the awareness of sustainable fisheries, what influence consumer behavior. Do you still remember what influence consumer behavior? That three factors influencing consumer behavior. Anyone want to answer other than the moderator? Do you still remember that three factors influencing consumer behavior? Okay, we have psychological factors, we have social factors, we have situational factors. Okay, that are the three factors influencing consumer behavior that actually you have learned in your consumer behavior course, and I just relate it with sustainable consumption in fisheries last Wednesday. Okay, that's among what we have learned. Okay, or what we have shared on Wednesday. So today, yeah. Before I go further, can you answer this? What influence seafood choices? When you want to buy seafood, what influence your choice? Anyone want to answer? It's your personal experience. What influence your choice when you want to buy seafood? What make you buy certain seafood? Should I use this answer garden so that you can type your answer? Okay. You can scan this QR code and type your answer here. What influence your seafood consumption? Or what influence you when you want to buy seafood? Oh, sorry. What happened? Yeah, the question is what influence seafood choices? So what influenced you in your seafood choices? There is no answer yet. I only see question here. Or anyone to answer? Anyone want to answer verbally? What makes you buy certain seafood?
Anyone want to answer the question? If there's anyone to answer the question, please raise your hand, please.
What is the reason you buy certain fish, or what is the reason you buy certain I don't know what kind of seafood that you eat? Prawns, crab. What is the reason? What influence your seafood choices?
Can I answer again?
Of course.
For me, I will choose seafood that from the cost and accessibility, and from the nutrition. But I will prefer the cost and accessibility because so easy to find.
Is it easy to find seafood in Indonesia?
Yes.
Okay. So that is, yeah, of course it's easy because you are a combination of a lot of islands. So you have a lot of seafood there. Okay. So these are some of the factors, okay, influencing seafood choices. It can be because of habit. Okay. You are habitually you buy certain kind of fish, for example. Or your everyday activity is go to the market and buy certain types of fish or certain types of prawns and so on. That is habit. Okay. When you want to buy, you look into certain characteristics, for example. So that is habit. Okay. Or your emotion also may influence your seafood choices. When you are happy, you eat more crab. I don't know. Is it like that? Or when you are angry, you eat more fish. That may be because of your emotion, okay? Or price. Our moderator just now is talking about price, the cost, okay? Some would prefer cheaper price of seafood. Some would prefer fresh seafood with higher price. It depends, okay? It depends. The fourth one is availability. Our moderator just now also talked about availability, okay? Whether you can get access to that seafood or not. Okay, that is availability. And your friends also influence your seafood choice. Okay, maybe your friends, all of your friends do not eat seafood, and you feel reluctant to eat seafood. Or if all your friends eat fish, so you also follow them to also eat fish. Okay, so that is seafood choices. And if you want to buy sustainable seafood, it may also be influenced by all this. Okay, sometimes we do not buy all this sustainable seafood because it is not available. It is limitedly available. Okay, that's why we don't buy. Okay, we go to supermarket, we don't see any sustainable label. Okay, that's why we don't buy because it's not available. But if it is widely available, then maybe we will buy. Okay. But maybe also because of price. We have covered this last Wednesday. Okay. If the price is high, maybe people reluctant to buy. Okay. Or yeah, if your friends, all of your friends are talking about sustainable consumption, sustainable seafood, so you will also buy sustainable or eco-friendly seafood. Okay, so that is what influence your choice in buying seafood. Okay, so this is our decision. Okay, our consumption decision can be impulsive, can be reflective. Okay, this one is one author is talking about one scholar is suggesting about system 1 and system 2 thinking. Okay, impulsive consumption is system 1 thinking, reflective thought is system 2 thinking. Okay, system 1 is more fast, intuitive, emotional. When we want to buy, we just buy, we don't think a lot. Okay, system 2 or reflective thought is more slow, or for example you want to buy house, you want to buy car, usually you are more rational, you put more effort to find information and so on. Okay, in the context of seafood, do you think it is impulsive or reflective? When you want to buy seafood, is it impulsive or reflective? Is it impulsive consumption or reflective consumption in buying seafood? Do you think a lot before you buy seafood?
Yes.
Oh, you think? Okay. Usually people just take, okay?
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe some individual will think a lot before they buy seafood, okay? In the context of seafood consumption, okay, do you just pick or you evaluate? When you want to buy fish, do you just pick or you evaluate? For example, you go to a restaurant, okay? You want to eat, okay? And in the menu, there is a lot of seafood choices. Do you just pick the menu or you evaluate the menu first?
Maybe read the menu first.
Maybe
Read the menu first.
you evaluate the menu?
Yeah.
Okay, that's something that not many people do. Okay, usually they will just pick. Okay, usually we will just pick. Okay, when we go to market, we will just pick. Okay, especially in the context of seafood consumption, we do not think a lot before we buy seafood. Usually we will just look at the seafood, look at the fish. Okay lah. In Malaysia usually we look at the eyes of the fish. If the eyes is red, we don't want to buy because we think it is not fresh anymore. Okay, if the ice is still clear, not red, then we will buy. Okay, that is more impulsive lah, not that reflective, not system 2, not that you go slow, you compare one shop to another, you compare one seller to another, you do more effort, you read first before you buy. Usually in the context of foods, it is more impulsive. It is more we just pick whatever we want to eat. Okay. That's why in Mr. Moderator, you can sit down. I pity you because you need to stand up. Please sit down.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. In the context of seafood, that's why in order to influence sustainable seafood consumption, we need to give a lot of awareness so that people will automatically just take sustainable seafood as compared to seafood that is not sustainable. Okay, so that is how impulsive consumption, reflective thought influence our decision making. And in grocery decision, we also have another context that we call as heuristics. Okay, heuristics is a mental shortcut. Okay, that help us to make quick decision. Okay, how we make quick decision because we have experience before. Okay, we use reason or our past experience to solve problems. Okay, you have experience of buying seafood. Okay, every day your mother go to the market and buy fish. That is experience. So that's why your mother know or you know that if you buy red ice fish, it is usually not that fresh. Okay, or if the fish seems not that yeah, there are certain conditions that if you see the fish, you know that it is not fresh. How do you know this? It's because of experience. Okay, so that is heuristics. Okay, that is heuristics. Uh, as compared that if you want to buy house, for example, or you want to buy car, for example, you do not have a lot of experience. Okay, especially if it is your first car, you do not have a lot of experience, and because of that, you need to study, you need to ask people, you need to go and Google, you need to find information, you need to do a test drive and so on. Okay, but in grocery decision, it is usually heuristic. It is usually just a shortcut that make you be able to do a quick decision. Okay, how we do or how these heuristics decision come in. The first one is because of familiarity. Okay, you are familiar with seafoods. Okay, you eat seafoods from you are baby. Okay, from the age of 6 months, for example, you have ate seafood. That's why you are very familiar. You know that ikan kembung is nice, for example. You know that what is squid in Indonesia? Kepiting, is it? What is kepiting? Kepiting is crab, is it?
Yes.
Crab. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know that competing is nice. Okay, so that is familiarity. You are familiar with the taste. That's why you do not think a lot before you buy. Okay. Second one is price heuristic. Okay, you know that ikan kembung, okay, is this the price is at this certain price level. Okay, so you know whether it is expensive or it is not expensive. You know that if you want to buy crab, for example, the price is at certain level. If you know that if you want to buy prawn, for example, the price is like that. Okay, so that is price heuristics. That if you look at the price, then you know it is expensive or not, and you just buy. Okay. The third one is visual cues. Okay, the packaging. Okay, how it is packaged, the freshness. Okay, you look at the seafood. You know whether it is fresh or not. Label. Okay, that's why label is very important in sustainable consumption because you do not know whether it is sustainable fisheries or not. If you have label, then you know that if you have that MSC label, then you know that this is sustainable. Okay, if you are familiar with the label, like you are very familiar with halal label, okay, a halal logo. If you want to buy something, you look at the halal logo, then you buy, okay, because you know that this is halal. So that is what we need in sustainable fisheries. If you look at the label or the logo, then you know that this seafood is sustainable, then you buy. So if you are familiar with all this, okay, then it will lead to system one or the impulsive buying. Okay, because you are familiar, because you know the price, because you are familiar with the packaging or all the visual cues, then you make quick decision. Okay, that quick decision relate back to impulsive buying or the system one. Okay, so when you have all this, then you automatically buy certain sustainable label. That is heuristics. Okay, and that is why if you want to influence people to buy sustainable fisheries, then these heuristics factors can be included in the way we influence people to buy. Okay, so that is heuristics. I don't know whether you have learned this or not. Have you learned this? Are you familiar with theory of planned behavior? Have you seen this theory before? This is the problem with online. I cannot hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this is the theory of planned behavior. Okay. The theory of planned behavior assume that you have control over your behavior. Okay. And usually our decision on our behavior is based on something that we are familiar with. Okay. We base our decision based on certain factors. It is usually we have the intention first before we behave. So there are three factors. There are three factors influencing our intention and behavior. The first one is attitude. Okay, whether you have positive or negative evaluation towards certain object or towards certain subject or anything. Okay, so that is attitudes. Subjective norms is your social influence. Okay, whether your friends, your family, the government, the influencers, everyone around you influence your decision. Okay, whether they encourage you to do that decision. Okay, so that is subjective norms. Perceived behavioral control is whether you have the ability. Okay, whether you have the ability to do that decision. Okay, or whether you have the ability to do that behavior or action. So that is, I usually call it as PBC, perceived behavioral control. So in the context of sustainable seafood consumption, okay, attitude would be more on you think whether the fish is important or not. Okay, is fish choice important? Okay, whether you want to choose sustainable or not sustainable, is it important or not? If you have positive evaluation towards sustainable seafood, then your attitude would be positive. When your attitude to it is positive towards sustainable seafood, then your intention to buy sustainable seafood would be higher. Okay, so that is attitude. I hope that after our sharing session, this 2 days sharing session, you would have more positive attitude towards sustainable seafood. Okay. Second one is subjective norms. Do peers support your decision? Okay. Your friends, whether they support you if you want to buy sustainable fish, for example. Your family, whether they support you if you prefer sustainable seafood. Okay. Your everyone that is close to you, whether they support your decision to choose sustainable seafood. That is subjective norm. Okay. The third one is perceived behavioral control. So this goes to how easy for you to choose. Okay. Is there any option? If there is no option, there is no sustainable seafood. There is no label. You do not know. You cannot evaluate. Then perceived behavioral control is low. If perceived behavioral control is low, maybe your intention would also be low because you do not have the ability to buy. You do not have the ability to evaluate. You do not have the ability or the surroundings, the situational factors. Okay, the situational factors that we said or that we discussed last Wednesday do not support you to buy sustainable seafood. Okay, so that is perceived behavior control. Okay, if all this is positive, attitude positive, subjective norm positive, perceived behavior control positive, it would lead to positive intention to buy sustainable seafood, and it will lead you to buy sustainable seafood. That is the behavior stage. Okay, so this is what theory of planned behavior is all about. Okay. Yes. Can any one of you explain how to apply this theory of planned behavior in sustainable seafood consumption or sustainable fish consumption? Anyone want to share? How to apply this TPB, theory of planned behavior, in sustainable fish consumption. Maybe the moderator can give the mic to anyone so that they can share.
Okay. Anyone want to answer the question? Anyone?
I'm sorry if I give you a lot of questions because I always remember that if you just listen, you only remember 10%.
Yeah.
If you do, you remember 80%. So if you try to answer the question, you will remember. Maybe I can show you back the theory, this one, okay, the theory of planned behavior. How to apply this to sustainable fish consumption or sustainable seafood consumption. Example, you are the policy maker. Okay, you are the policy maker. You are the government. Okay, how to use this theory? Okay, to support or to encourage people in Indonesia to buy sustainable seafood.
The presentation slide doesn't show up in the Zoom.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, just noticed it.
No presentation slide?
Yes.
Can you
Ah,
see it?
yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, so this is the theory of planned behavior that I explained to you just now. Okay, how to use this theory of planned behavior, attitude, subjective norm, and perceived behavioral control to influence people to buy sustainable seafood. Any answer? Anyone want to try?
Please raise your hands if you want to answer.
No answer? Oh, if you don't answer, I don't know whether you understand or not. This theory of planned behavior. Anyone just want to try?
Maybe they can't answer it with English, but with Indonesian.
Okay, no problem, no problem. You can answer in Indonesian language, no problem.
Uh, Maybe we can repeat the question, please.
Okay.
Slowly.
Okay, let me repeat the question. Okay. Can you explain how to apply the theory of planned behavior in sustainable fish consumption? Okay. I give you situation. If you are the policy maker, okay, you are the policy maker. For example, you are the government, okay. You want people in Indonesia to buy sustainable fish, okay. So how you use this theory? How you use this theory to make people in Indonesia buy sustainable fish? Okay, it's okay, it's okay. Maybe Seems like no answer. It's okay. I'll go further. Okay, I'll go further. How to apply this TPB? Okay, how to apply this TPB? Maybe you will say that you don't know how to identify sustainable fish. Okay, that is the challenge. That is the challenge. Consumers do not know how to identify sustainable fish. So what the government can do? They need to do more awareness campaign. Okay, awareness campaign will help to determine, or the awareness campaign will help to shape the attitude. Okay, when people know, when people aware about sustainable fish, they will have positive attitude. Okay, when they have positive attitude, they may have higher intention to buy sustainable fish. Okay, number two, subjective norms. Okay, if you have more influence, if you influence your customers, or if you use influencer in social media, for example. Okay, use influencers in social media to give more awareness about sustainable fish. Okay, and these influencers in the social media will create all this awareness and influence your friends. Okay, your friends that have awareness on sustainable fish will also influence you. Okay, so that is the subjective norms. Okay, so when your friends say it's better to buy sustainable fish, you also may have higher intention to buy sustainable fish. Okay, and lastly, that is how the government role is very important, the perceived behavior control. Because I think one of the challenge is because you do not know where to buy the sustainable fish, or you do not aware that the sustainable fish are available in the market. So that is the role of the government to make sure that these sustainable fish are available throughout the country. Okay, and with the right guidance in terms of label and so on, it will help to increase customers' intention to buy sustainable fish. Okay, so what we can do posters. Okay, for example, we can label the menu in restaurant. For example, this fish or this menu is using sustainable fish, for example. So that is how we are using the theory of planned behavior to influence customers' intention and behavior in purchasing sustainable seafood. Okay, so that is TPB. Okay, I believe you have learned this in your consumer behavior class. Okay, and we have this. It is actually a psychological theory that is used widely in marketing. Okay, it's used widely in marketing to study or to understand how people make certain purchase decision. Okay, so that is theory of planned behavior. And then we have another theory, which we call as value, belief, norm theory. Okay, this is deeper than the theory of planned behavior. If the theory of planned behavior is talking about your internal, which is your attitude, your external, which is your friends, and your ability, which is the perceived behavioral control. Okay, value, belief, norm theory explain about how your value, belief, and norms influence our behavior, especially in the environmental context. So, in the context of sustainable consumption, okay, in the context of sustainable fish, sustainable seafood consumption, okay, value, belief, norm theory is very relevant because it is related to environmental. Okay, so your value will guide your behavior. Okay, your belief will influence how you see the world. So your belief will influence how you see the sustainable consumption or the sustainable fish. And the norms, okay, your personal norms or your social norms, okay, will shape your action. What you usually do or what your friends usually do will influence your action. So that is value, belief, norm theory. Okay, can you explain how to apply this value, belief, norm theory in sustainable fish consumption? Just now is TPB, this one is VBN. How to apply, okay, value, belief, norm theory in sustainable consumption? Okay, let me go further. Maybe it would be more difficult for you because VBN is more complicated than TPB. Okay, TPB is actually easy. TPB, theory of planned behavior, is actually very easy to understand. Okay, VBN maybe is a bit more complicated. Okay, but values is more on your culture, your religion, your family values. Okay, if your family, all your family members are very environmentally concerned. Okay, or your religion is I'm not sure how many of you are Muslims, but I believe Indonesia is a Muslim majority country. So I believe a lot of majority of you are Muslims. So if you are Muslims, you know that even in the Quran stated that you are not allowed to do something that damage the earth. Okay, that damage the earth. What you do, okay, what you do, the damage of the earth is because of your hands. Okay, so we are not encouraged, or we are actually okay, in Islam you are not allowed, or you are not encouraged to do something that cause damage to the world, or to the earth. Okay, so that is a religious value. Okay, so that is the religious value. Culture, if your culture is more towards sustainable, okay, sustainability and so on, that would also instill the value. Okay, that values that your family values, your religious values will influence your belief. Okay, then you believe that you cannot eat it's easier like halal and haram. Okay, that is more easier. You understand that in Islam you cannot eat haram. Okay, you cannot eat pig. Okay, you cannot eat dog. Okay, because it is haram. You cannot take alcohol because it is haram. Okay, so that is the values. Okay, that values influence your belief. That if you want to choose anything, your belief will say that this is not right. If you see alcohol, this is not right. Okay? If you see any trace of pig or dogs in foods, it is not right. Okay? And it's finally will influence your norms. Okay? Or it influence your action. Okay? The norms around you. Okay? Your family, none of your family members are consuming alcohol. Okay? That is norms. None of your friends are consuming alcohol. So that is norms. Okay? None of your surrounding are consuming anything related to pigs. Okay, so that is norms. Okay, because of that social norms and your personal norms, because you also never consume alcohol, then you will not take anything related to alcohol. That influence your behavior. When you want to buy something, you see at the label have alcohol or not. That's why you see halal logo. Okay, if you want to buy something, you see the halal logo. If it is halal, no alcohol, no trace of pig and anything, then you will buy. Okay, so this is similar to the case of sustainable consumption. Okay, if your religion, the value in your religion is related to sustainability. Okay, your culture is related to the sustainability. Your family is very concerned about sustainability. It will influence your beliefs, and your beliefs and the social norms and personal norms will influence your behavior. Okay, so how to apply this? How to apply this is, if you are the government, okay, then make it instill the values to the people. Okay, instill the values to the people. The concern towards sustainability should be instilled to the people, that the people think this is the basic things to consider if you want to buy something. Okay, that is how you apply value norms and value belief and norms theory, or VBN, in sustainable consumption. Okay, and we also have another theory that we call as nudge theory. Okay, nudge theory. Nudge theory suggests that a minor changes to how you see your choice, okay, will influence your behavior. A minor changes, small changes on how you see your choice, or how the choices are presented to you, will influence behavior, or will influence decision making without restricting freedom of choice. Okay? You do not say to people, don't buy anything unsustainable. Okay? That is restricting freedom of choice. But you just change a bit. change a bit to make people see choices that influence their behavior. Okay, this is nudge theory. Okay, nudge theory leverage our cognitive bias or our tendencies for default options, what we see around us. For example, you go to supermarket, okay, most of the fish at the shelf, okay, have a sustainable label. Okay, majority has sustainable label. Because of that, you will unconsciously buy the sustainable fish as compared to those unsustainable. Okay, because the choices available to you subtly, okay, the choices available to you is a sustainable choice. Okay, so that is nudge theory. Yeah, the changes in the environment make certain choices more appealing, more attractive, more easy to select. Okay, example, if you go, you know that when you go to retail outlet, okay, our eyes will look at the eye level. Okay, you go to supermarket, for example, um without it's not intentionally, it is actually automatically when you look at the shelf, you will look at the eye level. If you put all the sustainable choice at the eye level, okay, it will make you buy the product at the eye level. Okay, so that is how you use nudge theory to make you buy certain sustainable choices. Okay, the aims of this theory is to influence your behavior without forcing you to choose specific option. Okay, you are not forced to buy something. Okay, you are not forced to buy sustainable fish only. Okay, you will not be fined, for example. You will not go into prison, for example, if you buy unsustainable choice. That is forcing you. Okay, but nudge theory said, you we shouldn't force people to choose. Okay, but we just change the environment to make people choose certain choice. Okay, so that is nudge theory. You still retain the freedom for the customers to choose or to make their own decision, but the way you presented your choices make them choose certain option. Okay, so that is nudge theory. Okay, example. You give default option. Okay, example. Okay, this is example not related to sustainable consumption. If you go or if you visit certain website, there is usually that you need to answer whether you want to accept cookies or not. Then what you do? When you see that question, want to accept cookies or not, what you do?
Accept cookies.
Accept. You just accept cookies. Okay?
Yeah.
So that is default options. Okay? You do not have a lot of choice. If you do not accept, you cannot access, for example. Okay? So that is default option. So if you give that default option, that default option in terms of buying seafood, okay, it will make people buy certain seafood. Okay? Or social proof. Social proof. You go, you use influencer, and that the influencer says that they buy sustainable seafood every day, for example. So that is social proof. Okay, there is social proof that your favorite influencers are buying sustainable seafood. Okay, or visual labels. This is the important role of label, that you have the MSC label. Okay, the blue tick label. Okay, when you see that blue tick label, you know that that is sustainable fish. Okay, or positive framing. Okay, you give certain perception that if you buy sustainable fish, you are helping something. For example, if you buy sustainable fish, then you are helping the environment. You are more environmentally conscious individual, for example. So all of this will help people to choose sustainable consumption or sustainable seafood as compared to the unsustainable one. Okay, but the most important thing is make the option available first. If the option is not there, it would be difficult for people to buy. Okay, so that is the nudge theory. Okay, this is consumer segmentation. Okay, consumer segmentation. Okay, in sustainable consumption, we have lohas. Lohas are people who are health conscious, sustainability conscious. Okay, these are people that you do not need to give them a lot of awareness on so on, because they are those who are aware about this sustainability option. They are aware the effect of using unsustainable option. Okay, they are aware what is the effect of all this towards the environment. Okay, so we have another one, health focus. Okay, we have customers that are very health conscious. So when they want to buy, they will look into whether it is good for their health or not. Okay, whether this seafood has pollution or not. If this seafood is polluted, then it is not for their health. If this seafood is not fresh, then it is not good for the health. Okay, so that is the health focus segment. We have price sensitive segment that will consider the price. Okay, if the price is expensive, they will not buy, although it is sustainable. If the price is acceptable, they will buy. Okay, and we have passive customers. These are customers who are not aware. Okay, they are not aware about all this sustainable option. Okay, so we need to understand all this segment, because if we know the segments, then we can do program. Okay, or we can influence them using different ways. Okay, we can influence them using different activities. Okay, if we want to influence the sustainable, we do not need to do a lot of efforts to influence the sustainable group or the lohas, because they understand already. Okay, they understand it. They look for it. Okay, they look for it. This lohas group can be the group that we use them to influence other people. Okay, they are the one that we can use them. Okay, to influence or to create that social norm. Okay, so that is the health and sustainability group. Okay, the health focus, then we need to give we need to prove that the sustainable option or the sustainable seafood is more healthy. Okay, that would influence this health focus group. If you can prove to them that the sustainable option is more healthy, then this health focus group will buy. Okay, the price sensitive customers, you must to make sure that the price of the sustainable fish is affordable by the price sensitive customers. If the price is very high, they won't buy. Okay, the price should be affordable to them. Okay, and the passive customers need more awareness. Okay, you need to give them more awareness. You need to give them more education. You need to give them more influence to make them aware. When they are aware, they may have more intention to buy. Okay, so these are the four segments. Okay, in it's actually four segments in sustainability consumption. Okay, but can be applied to seafood consumption also. Okay, sustainable seafood. How to build trust. Okay, how to build trust to the people on the sustainable option. The first one is certification. Okay, how we build trust towards halal option, for example, is through halal certification. So similarly, how to build trust about sustainable seafood is through certification. Okay, make people aware of that MSC. Okay, that we have discussed last Wednesday, the blue tick label. Okay, make people aware of the aquaculture sustainable consumption. Okay, aquaculture. Okay, that this has been raised. The farm is more sustainable. Sustainable way of farming. Okay, so that is certification. That this certification is from independent body. Okay, make people know that MSC, ASC is independent body certification. It is not influenced by any corporate. It is not influenced by any seller selling seafood. Okay, so that is certification. Number two is transparency. Okay, transparency. Blockchain can be used to influence transparency. QR code, that when you scan, you know that where is the source of this seafood. Okay, so that is the use of this QR code, blockchain, RFID. Okay, we can use this to increase transparency so that people know where is the source of the seafood, how do you say, why do you say that it is sustainable option and so on. Okay, and emotional storytelling. Okay, emotional storytelling. This is I can relate this back to the story that I told you last Wednesday about some fishermen in Malaysia, the west of Malaysia. Okay, there are some fishermen that do not go to the sea for 4 months already because there is no fish, or there is lack of fish. I wouldn't say there is no fish, but they do not get enough fish. Okay, they do not get enough fish. Okay, that is emotional. What you do if your job is as a fisherman, okay, and you cannot go to the sea, okay, to catch fish, and then what you do? What can you do to improve your living? Okay, so that is emotional storytelling. If we as a consumers still buy those unsustainable seafood option, what will happen to this fisherman? Okay, what will happen to this fisherman, especially the small fisherman, not the big one, not the big company that have big ship. Okay, the small one that they do not have the technology. Okay, if the number of fish in the sea is reducing, what will happen to them? So that is emotional storytelling. You can also use this emotional storytelling to influence people. Okay, to build trust, to influence people to choose sustainable option. Okay, yeah, this is what Indonesia can do. Not only Indonesia, this is also what Malaysia can do. Okay, the first one is mandatory labeling law. Okay, which is not available in Malaysia now. I'm not sure about Indonesia, but if you have this label, people will know. Okay, how to choose. If you do not have this label, people won't choose because they do not have the option, or because they don't know, they don't have the awareness. If you make it mandatory, okay, to have the label on the seafood, then it is easier for people to choose. Okay. Number two is public awareness campaign. Okay, like you have the campaign of Ayo Makan Ikan. Okay, then that campaign can be further deliberate to Ayo Makan sustainable ikan. Okay. Ayo makan ikan yang lebih environmental friendly. Okay, so that is public awareness campaign. Similarly to WWF Fish Forward, that is also public awareness campaign. Okay, and as what we see last Wednesday, that those who have more influence are the young people at the age of 18 to 34. Okay, this group of people who choose have more influence, are more vocal, are more aware about the sustainable option, then how to influence this group of people is by using the youth. Okay, the youth influences. Okay, using the influences among them. Okay, influences among the young people to influence the people from the same category of age, from the same age category, to eat sustainable seafood. Okay, that is how you influence the young people. Okay, and usually these young people, the Gen Z, who are more vocal and so on, will also influence the parents and the family. Okay, so as people are using social media widely nowadays, so the role of the influencers in influencing people to eat sustainably or to eat sustainable seafood is easier using the influences. Okay, affordable local fish. Okay, with the awareness. Okay, and if the fish is, I believe most of the fish in Indonesia is from the local source as compared to Malaysia that we import from Indonesia. We import a lot from Indonesia. Okay, the fish, if the fish is local fish, the price should be more affordable. Okay, the price should be more affordable. So make it the option of affordable local sustainable fish. Okay, make it widely available and faith or culture based messaging. This is how what I said just now relate back to the religion. Okay, that the religion said that you must be responsible to the earth. Okay, don't do damage to the earth. Okay, so that is faith based messaging. If you support the unsustainable option, that shows that you are not following the faith message. Okay, so influencing people based on faith and culture based messaging would make people choose the sustainable option. Okay, so this real world campaign, I can show you some of these. The first one is WWF Indonesia Seafood Guide. You can find this through Google. I cannot copy and paste it to my slide because it's a long page. But let me share. Can you see? Can you see? This is WWF campaign in Indonesia.
Yes.
Okay. So in this leaflet, okay, they provided a lot of information. Pengertian perikanan tangkap, okay, pengertian perikanan budidaya, keterangan sistem budidaya, and so on. And they put here kategori tangkapan alam, a wild catch, okay. The name of the seafood in Indonesia, and then this one is you need to avoid it, okay. The pink one or the red one, you need to avoid this fish or this seafood. This one, it is actually a traffic light colors. Okay, the yellow one, you can consider. The green one is the best option. Okay, so you can see here different types of seafood here. You have todak, tongkol, teripang. Teripang is sea cucumber. Oh, sea cucumber in Malaysia is gamat. In Indonesia is teripang. You have tuna, you have jellyfish, udang or shrimp. So yeah, this one is wild catch. Okay, this one is in the sea. Okay, this one is aquaculture. Okay, this one is aquaculture. So which one is the best option? Which one you can consider? Okay, kerapu bebek, for example, is the best option is this one is intensive farming. Okay, and then you have WWF said that this information is not enough or it's not complete. Okay, it is not end here, so they will include it. They will update it one by one later. Okay, so this is the seafood guide. The pink one, you need to you reduce the use of the pink one. Okay, you can consider the yellow one. The one that you need to choose is the green one. Okay, and here is the way they catch the seafood. Okay, PS is pukat cincin, PW is pukat. And then you have this one. This is what I said last week about trawling. Okay, last Wednesday. Okay, and then you have pancing, you have jaring insang, bubu, and so on. Okay, so yeah, you can read this later. This is in Indonesian language. Okay, campaign by WWF. Second one. The second one is IKEA Sustainable Seafood. Can you see this one is IKEA?
Yes.
Okay, this is in IKEA website. Okay. IKEA said that they even give the awareness first. 90% of the world's fish stocks fully exploited or even overexploited. Okay, and because of that, okay, all the foods served in all the seafoods served in IKEA. Okay, they said vast majority of the seafood products okay, are environmentally certified. So it is ASC, Aquaculture Stewardship Council certified, okay, for salmon, and MSC certified for cod, herring, and shrimp. Okay, so the seafood served in IKEA is ASC and MSC certified. Okay, so they offer responsibly produced seafood to over 680 million IKEA food customers in 52 countries. Okay, so you can confidently eat seafood in IKEA because it is sustainably certified. Okay, so yeah, these all are explanation. Okay, of the IKEA seafood guide or their sustainable option. The third one is sorry. The third one is seafood wash color coded list. This one is by seafoodwash.org. This one. Okay, this page, it's actually a website of seafood guides. Okay, seafood guides. So this website stated that you can use the seafood guides while shopping or dining to help choose environmentally sustainable options. So this one is in the US, the most popular seafood item served in the US. So they give all the explanation here. Example here is yeah. If it is sold in the US, it is farm and sustainable seafood. Okay, this one. But I want to show you this one. Okay. All this you can read the explanation. All these are the explanation, but yes, this one. Okay. So we have this traffic light. Okay, this traffic light recommended certified seafood that you can choose based on the color. Okay. If it is green, it is the best choice. Okay, so green rated seafood is well managed, caught or farmed in an environmentally responsible manner, low environmental risk. Okay. If it is yellow, it is good alternative. Okay. If there is no green option, then you can buy the yellow one, which pose a moderate environmental risk. Okay. But red one is you need to avoid. Okay. Avoid the red rated seafood because it poses a high risk to the environment. Okay. So this one is but I'm not sure whether this one is available in Indonesia or not. Okay. But this seafood watch is actually more on the US. Okay. Can be used. Okay, we can apply it in our country, not only Indonesia but also Malaysia, because I think the situation is almost similar. The awareness of sustainable consumption, especially related to seafood, is very low in Malaysia. Okay, I go back to my slide. Okay, based on all this, based on all what I have shared with you, okay, this is your group activity. Okay, please divide the class maybe to 4 groups. Okay, 4 groups. Okay, what you need to do, you need to design a campaign. Okay, campaign to consume sustainable seafood. Okay, you are given a 1 million budget. Okay, imagine that you are given a 1 million budget. Okay, and that campaign is in 2 weeks. Okay, you need to conduct the campaign in 2 weeks. Okay, and you need to do it in your campus. Okay, so using all the theories that we have learned and all the content that we have learned this morning and on Wednesday, okay, can you design a campaign to encourage students in your campus, okay, to choose to choose or to at least to influence their family to choose sustainable seafood. Okay? Is my explanation clear on this activity?
Yes.
Okay. So I think 4 groups would be, we have about half an hour. Okay, so I give you 10 minutes to discuss. Okay, then you will do a presentation. Okay, or you will explain to us. Okay, on your campaign. Okay, so 10 minutes from now to discuss on this activity, and we'll see the presentation after this. Okay. Are you okay?
We have to make it 4 groups, right?
Yes, 4 groups. Finish?
Not yet. No.
Finish? I cannot hear you.
Oh, not already finished yet.
Okay.
Still
If
working.
we have finished, please inform me, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
We got one group already finished. Check. We got one group already finished the assignment.
Okay, you can start the presentation.
Bentar dulu. Sebenarnya ini tuh kayak ini kan Kak, desain kampanye kayak.
Dia terserah mau desain kampanye atau mau bikin apa, suatu acara apa biar bisa menyadarkan orang-orang di kampus itu buat konsumsi ikan yang ramah lingkungan gitu. Langsung diri ya kalau udah siap ya.
Ya, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Introduce myself. My name is Ratuma Sanazla Dwi Intanawanda Hiramawan from Aquaculture KB. So the design a campaign that my group design is socialization in social media and make a talk show about fisheries consumption, and then uh, in in uh, in that in that socialization we influence about fish that uh, we consumption is same quality with the import quality fisheries. That's
That's
all.
all.
Yes, that's all.
What is the budget?
Sorry.
How much is the budget?
Mm, I guess it's less than 1 million.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Next group.
Any groups? Okay, we got one group again.
Okay, my name is Egi Natasha. I'm from Aquaculture 2000. Oke, Inggris aja, Inggris dulu aja ya. Jadi konsep yang akan kita bawa ini, nggak mau. Jadi konsep yang akan kita bawa ini tentang sosial media dan konten-konten, karena yang kita tahu masyarakat Indonesia itu gampang terpengaruh oleh media. Jadi hal itulah yang bakal kita bawa untuk kita mengajak para masyarakat Indonesia untuk mengkonsumsi ikan secara berkelanjutan. Nah, budget yang dibutuhin itu 50.000. Karena kita cuma butuh kanva premium, kita udah ada. Kuota atau wifi ada di UB. Jadi 50.000 itu cuma budget bensin. Nah, seperti itu. Makasih.
So what the group saying is they will use social media to campaign the sustainability fish with a budget of 50,000.
Don't worry, I can understand that.
Yeah, yeah.
You didn't need to
Yeah.
translate.
So
Okay, by the way, who you will use in social media? You will hire influencer, or you are the one who will post the posting and so on.
maybe in this group saying, yeah, themselves.
Oh, they
In
will
the group, yeah.
they will do the okay.
Yeah, to make a poster.
Social media campaign can be successful if yes, okay. It needs time if you need to add on more followers and so on. Okay. But if you want rapid result, if you want to make it quick, you need money. Okay, you need money. Because if you pay, then it will appear in the advertisement in social media. Then people will see that. Okay. So because you have 1 million, you can use that budget, okay, to pay the social media to make sure that your campaign can appear in other people timeline, in your target population timeline, so that they can see and they can be influenced by what you want to tell them. Okay, so that is group 2. Group 3. If no more presentation, is there still any presentation?
Pakai Indonesia ya. Can I use Indonesian? Jadi hasil diskusi dari kelompok kami, kalau kami punya prinsip bagaimana kita itu kampanye tapi yang berpengaruh langsung. Dan kita berprinsip bahwasanya kampanye paling berpengaruh itu adalah kampanye dengan cara jualan. Jadi begini, budget 1 juta bisa kita gunakan untuk kita mengajukan ide produk kepada satu perusahaan tertentu. Nah, untuk sementara kami sampelkan adalah produk Indomie. Kan kita berbasisnya di kampus untuk kampanyenya. Nah, tahu sendirilah anak mahasiswa kan sering sekali kan memakannya adalah mie. Nah, maka dari itu kita targetnya adalah produk mie. Karena kita kampanye tentang perikanan, maka kita membawakan ide ke perusahaan yaitu mie dengan rasa ikan seperti itu. Jadi nah, semisal kalau dari perusahaan mie tidak memungkinkan, kita akan turun level 1 tingkat yaitu ke produk yang lebih rendah seperti sambal atau jajan-jajanan ringan lainnya. Yang jelas idenya adalah berbahan ikan seperti itu. Thank you.
Oh, okay. So mie-nya berisi ikan.
Yeah.
Okay. Sambalnya sambal ikan, tapi ikan tu is sustainable ikan, is it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Last group.
Okay.
Oke, sebelumnya perkenalkan nama saya Candika Dagustina dari Aquaculture KB. Untuk upaya agar dapat mempromosikan ikan segar secara berkelanjutan, mungkin dari kelompok kami telah berdiskusi itu jawabannya sama seperti kelompok yang lain dengan media sosial dan dengan kampanye. Dan kampanye ini kita memiliki target audiens dan memiliki tujuan, yaitu untuk mendorong kebiasaan konsumsi ikan segar di kalangan masyarakat Indonesia. Dengan adanya sekarang itu kita lagi memenuhi target akan keturunan stunting di Indonesia, begitu.
Thank you so much. It's not only ikan segar lah. It should be sustainable ikan segar. Okay. Fresh seafood only can be sustainable and unsustainable, but we are talking about sustainable. Okay. So it should be sustainable ikan segar. I don't know whether I still have time or not. But I have finished my session. If you have question, then maybe you can open for question and answer session.
We got one question here.
Okay.
Okay, my name is Ratuma Sanazla Dwi Intanawan Daerah Mawan. So my question is, to what extent can be synergistic application of sustainability certification, radical supply chain transparency, and emotionally driven storytelling transcend traditional marketing approaches to systematically cultivate deep consumer trust, ultimately reshaping long-term behavioral pattern towards sustainable fish consumption in diverse social cultural contexts, and how might this trust be resiliently maintained in the face of greenwashing risks and shifting public narratives?
Thank you so much for the question. She conclude all my slide into one question. Okay, never mind. There are several components of the question, but I think the questions is focusing on how we can integrate all this. Okay, how we can integrate all this, especially because of today we have all this greenwashing and so on. Okay, as you look at how difficult it is to make sure, I'm not sure about Indonesian context, but in Malaysia, even to make people aware about the halal logo, especially because Malaysia is a multicultural, multi-ethnic, okay, multi-ethnic. We have almost similar population of Muslims and non-Muslims, okay. So the awareness towards halal logo is not that easy, okay. The Muslims aware, the non-Muslims are not aware, okay. The Muslims are looking into it, the non-Muslims are using it for their business, okay, without understanding the gist of it. So similarly, okay, in the case of halal logo, after a long time, if you look into the small children in Malaysia nowadays, they are the one that look for the halal logo, even to buy things that are not focusing on halal. So this is the same case with this sustainable consumption. Okay, you have the positive effects, or you have the pull factor, okay. All the story about the green needs, okay, the environmental friendly needs, the sustainable needs, all this sad story of, yeah, the emotional storytelling just now about the fisherman, the threat to the fisherman career, the overfishing, the overconsumption, and so on. All these are the pull factors that make people want to buy the sustainable option. But there are also the another factor, like the greenwashing, that people do not trust it because some seller or some businesses are just trying to say about the positive things, but they are not doing it. Okay, they are not doing it. So that's why the role of the government is very important. Okay, the role of the government is very important. If not the government, at least an independent body. An independent body role is very important to make sure that, for example, I would say that in Malaysia, our consumer association, some consumer association are very strong. Okay, if you're doing greenwashing, or if you're doing something that is not friendly to the customers, okay, and it is revealed by the consumer association, it's become viral and everybody know. That is the transparency aspect, okay. By using all that QR code, by using all that RFID and so on, yes, it helps in terms of the supply chain, okay. If you do it correctly, in the context of halal, for example, you do it correctly, then in the end you will get a halal product. In the context of sustainable, similarly, if you're talking about sustainable consumption, sustainable fish, seafood consumption, if we do it correctly using all this supply chain method, the blockchain and so on, you will get a transparent information. In the end, you will get the sustainable fish. Okay, with the correct use of all this method. Okay, but still, even in Malaysia, there are a lot of cases. Okay, there are a lot of cases that suddenly people know that this is because of one of it is because the supply chain itself is not that transparent. Okay, that's why in the end you do not get the product that they claim as sustainable. So the correct way of doing it is very important. The role of the government is very important to make sure that rules, regulations, policies is there. The third one is the role of the independent body. I would say like WWF, I would say like Consumer Association. Like I said just now, in Malaysia, the Consumer Association is strong. That when all these are revealed, people know what happened. And when people know what happened, they will boycott. Okay, if you are doing greenwashing and people know it, they will boycott. So I think that is why all this independent body role is also very important in the context of Indonesia, to make sure that greenwashing will not happen, to make sure that whatever it is done in transparent manner, that in the end you will get the real sustainable seafood to be consumed by the consumers.
All right, thank you. Unfortunately, the time for this session is ending, so Uh, Thank you for the explanation of the customer behavior material and for answering question from the college students in here. And for the last session, maybe we can take a picture together. Is that okay?
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for your cooperation in my activities in the class and so on. Thank you so much for listening. And yes, we can take photo together.
All right. Okay. Oh, without slide presentation, maybe we
Okay.
can. Okay. Yang tadi aja udah nggak apa-apa. Tiga itu tadi aja. Oke. Ayo foto dulu ya bentar ya. Itu duduk dulu bentar. Okay, you take a picture in 3, 2, 1. Again, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Again, thank you for the time, Dr. Siti. Thank you for the lecture, and I hope from this lecture we can learn about this customer behavior and we can apply it into our environment and society. Once
Thank
again, thank you
you.
very much, Dr. Siti.
Thank you. I can leave now.
Yeah. You can leave.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah. You're welcome.
Assalamualaikum.